Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for this Vinyasa yoga practice for what I playfully call text neck, but essentially for our neck and our cervical spine. So to get started today, we're going to come into supported fish pose. And if you have a certain way that supported fish feels best for you, go for it. If you have a blanket, like a yoga blanket you can roll up, or a thick towel, like a beach towel you could roll up, even a yoga mat, an extra yoga mat that you can roll up. I'm going to cue you for the waterfall variation of supported fish. So that is the one where you use your rolled up blanket and place it horizontally across your mat so that when you lay back, your shoulder blades drape over the back edge of the blanket. So just kind of the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are on the blanket, and then the rest of your back, your upper body, just kind of cascades over like a waterfall, and your head comes down to your mat. If it feels like you need a little bit elevation, something underneath your head, you could place something there. And then you can bring your arms out to a T or into cactus arms. And if you've placed the blanket in the right spot, the blanket should be right underneath your arms, right underneath your triceps. And then legs can be out long, or knees could be bent with feet on the floor, maybe even soles of the feet together, knees opened out to the sides, whatever sounds good. And when you're ready, just close your eyes and take a deep breath or two to begin. Using your exhales to just help your body start to relax into this shape. Right away, noticing any resistance, any muscles that might not be quite ready to relax yet. And can you just keep sending your breath into those spots to help them release and let go? And then take a little bit of time to check in. Notice your energy level today. Remind yourself to honor it throughout your practice. Bring awareness to any parts of your body that might need some special attention during your practice. And then bring your awareness back to your breath. And just start to really make that connection to your breath now, each inhale and each exhale. Noticing where you feel your breath moving in your body. And it might be ready to start deepening, lengthening a little bit more, just without strain or force. And so we are starting in this supported back bend today, always a good one of my favorites to do, and especially when we're focusing on good posture. And so since this sequence, we are really going to be aware of our neck and our cervical spine, we can bring awareness to it now, maybe noticing some habitual tension that you can keep letting go of. Maybe noticing if you can find a little bit more length in your neck, you can take your hands and kind of give your neck some traction, like I would if I were coming around at the end and find a relaxation, kind of pulling your head back toward the wall behind you a little bit. You can do that yourself with your own hands, just to create a little bit more length between the vertebrae of your cervical spine. And so we probably don't realize it, but the shoulder tension and neck tension that we have most of the time comes not from stress, but actually because our head placement is not properly on top of our shoulders. Our cervical spine isn't in line with the rest of our spine. And so when that happens, that's the first sign of posture deterioration. We get that forward head position, or text neck, I like to call it. It's a shortness in the front of our neck and our chest, and even down into our upper abdominals. And then the muscles in our back, the trapezius, in the mid and lower trapezius, and the erector muscles tend to get overstretched and weak. And that causes that hyperkyphosis, the dowager's hump. And so if it gets too bad, it can cause things like shortness of breath, decreased lung capacity, because you can think about, if you're hunched over like that, there's just not as much room there. It can cause headaches, neck pain, even jaw problems. So if you have any of those issues, take a look at the placement of your cervical spine. Notice if you're getting that text neck. That is a very real and common phenomenon nowadays, because we're always looking down at our phones. And so in this practice today, we'll see some nice back bending poses, because they're the counter stretch, right, for hunching forward. So we're starting out in the supported fish pose. We'll also do various back muscle strengthening in our sequence, and then we'll just be aware when we come into different postures of our neck and our cervical spine placement, and if we're bringing our cervical spine in line with the rest of our spine. So that is my intention for our practice, and you can just take a moment with that in mind to set your own intention. And then once you've set that intention, just take another breath or two here. And then as you're ready, go ahead and gently roll yourself over to one side and just make your way right up to a comfortable seated position. And I encourage you, if you have blocks, to sit on your blocks. You could sit cross-legged. You could sit on the blocks between your heels. So from kneeling, just sticking the blocks behind you between your feet and then sitting back on the blocks. Very nice way to make sure that we help our body come into that good alignment as easily as possible. And then just take a moment once you are seated to bring awareness to your cervical spine, to your neck. So ideally, the proper neck alignment is to have the top of our cheekbone right over our collarbone. And you might even use your hands right now. Maybe the tips of the fingertips can come onto the top of your cheekbones. Maybe the heels of your hands reach and touch the collarbones. And just notice, is that a straight vertical line or is it on a diagonal? And can you pull your head back so that your cheekbones and collarbones are more in alignment in that same plane? And it might feel very awkward and uncomfortable. That's completely normal if that's the case. It's just that we're maybe not used to having our head in the proper alignment. We're more used to it being out of alignment, and it feels more natural that way. So just give it some time. And as a reminder, when we come into these, trying to make these proper posture corrections, we need to remember that we're not straining and we're not tensing up. We need to find that balance between effort and ease. So find a little ease once you've pulled your head back. And then we're going to move into some neck and shoulder stretches here. So take your inhale to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, tip your chin down toward your chest. Chest staying lifted up toward the chin. And then on an inhale, lift your chin up toward the ceiling, tip your head back. And then bring your head back up to center. Let's tip right ear to right shoulder. And then back up through center, tip left ear to left shoulder. And then let's begin to rotate our head around, a circular motion, imagining a paintbrush on the tip of your nose, painting big circles in the air in front of you. And in the opposite direction. Good, and then bring your head back up to center. Place your hands on top of your shoulders and let's rotate the shoulders around a few times in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. Good, and then just relax your arms back down and let's take a few more breaths here in seated. And again, just notice your cervical spine. Did it kind of start to come forward again? So you're drawing it back and up a little bit. So if you think about the back part, we get that the up part is the back of your head lifting up. So the front of your head and your chin tuck down a little bit, just a little. Just letting our body get used to this correct alignment. Finding some ease to go with any effort, any strain we may have made. And then then as you're ready, make your way over to table on your hands and knees. And let's just start to move with our breath here on your inhales, lifting your head and your tailbone up toward the sky. As you exhale, curl your head and tailbone under, arch your back up. And just move at the pace of your own breath, really going inside now. Strong inward focus. What kind of sensations do you notice in your body? Nice stretch in the front of your body on your inhales. Nice stretch in the back of your body on your exhales. And then finish this next exhale and just make your way back to a neutral spine. So remember the abdominals are zipped up here. And then bring your awareness to your neck in this position. So sometimes we just let it kind of droop down. Can you lift the back of your head and the back of your neck up toward the ceiling so that it brings your cervical spine in line with the rest of your spine? And then we're going to try to hold it there and move with the breath a little bit more. Opposite arm is leg. So on an inhale, let's extend right leg out behind us. Reach your left arm out in front of you. As you exhale, bring them down to the floor. Switch to the other side. Inhale, left leg out behind you. Right arm out in front. Exhale to lower them back down and just take a few more like that with your own breath. And as you move, can you keep that zipping up action? Can you keep the hips level? So that leg that you're lifting, make sure that hip doesn't lift up and flare out to the side. And then can you still keep your awareness on your cervical spine? Have that good alignment. Drawing the back of the head, the back of the neck up toward the ceiling. And then the next time you extend an arm and leg out, whichever side you're on, doesn't matter, hold them there. Arm reaching forward, leg reaching back, hips level, abdominals scooped up. Remember, puffing up your lower back a little, and then check that neck placement again. Take one more inhale. Exhale to release. Right over to the other side. Extend the opposite arm and leg out. Lift them up. Reach the arm forward. Reach the leg back. Hips level. Abdominals scooped. Back of the head, back of the neck, lifting up toward the ceiling. And don't forget to breathe. Take one more inhale. Exhale to release. Good. Shake it out a little bit. The wrists, the legs, any kind of movement that feels good. And then when you're ready, just curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And take some time here to ease your body into this stretch. See what kind of movement feels good. Pedal your feet, sway your hips. And then on an inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk your feet up into a standing forward bend. And just take a few breaths here to shake out your head and neck a little bit. Rock your hips side to side. Ease your body into this stretch. And then on your next inhale, lift up halfway. Nice long spine. Exhale back down to your forward bend. And then a big inhale brings you all the way up to standing. Sweep your arms up overhead. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. And as you exhale, lean to the right, a side bend. Inhale back up to center. Switch hands. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, come back up, zip up the abdominals. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward. Take your inhale, lift halfway. On the exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. We're gonna hold plank for a moment because this is another place where we have a tendency to have the rest of our spine nice and long, but let our cervical spine just hang down sometimes. So same thing here. Lift the back of your head and the back of your neck up toward the ceiling. And remember, that's not the chin. The chin tucks down a little bit. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, straighten your arms, roll onto the tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale, curl the toes under, push back to down dog. And just take a moment to reconnect to your breath here. And then let's do one more of those together and then one more on your own. So next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump up to your forward bend. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward bend. Big inhale brings you all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, back to center, lengthen. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, come back up, zip the abdominals. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take your inhale here, scoop up, get that good neck alignment. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, upward dog, peel the shoulders back. Exhale, down dog. And then take a handful of breaths here and then move through one more on your own. If you want to do more than one, remember you can always pause the recording and then start it back up when you're ready. And a good place to remind yourself about taking your time, no rush here. Really slowing down to be more mindful, to really pay attention to what you're doing. So important when we're paying attention and trying to improve our posture and make sure we have good alignment. We need to be more mindful. We need to pay better attention. No rush to get there, but when you get back to your downward dog, just holding it there, take a second to check your hand placement, the fingers spread apart, the four corners of each palm pressing into the floor evenly, trying to put a little bit more weight forward into the fingers as opposed to back in the heels of your hands. And then let's move on to Sun Salutation B. So next inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump back up to your forward bend. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward bend, deepen in the knees, sink your hips. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead into chair pose. On the exhale, fold right back down to your forward bend. And inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, come right down to chaturanga on that same exhale. Inhale, upward dog, or maybe a cobra. Exhale, push back to down dog. And then this time, inhale, right leg up in the air behind you. As you exhale, step that foot up, pivot the back foot flat, and inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, warrior one. On the exhale, we're gonna open it out to warrior two. And then inhale, tip back, reverse warrior, right arm up and over for the side stretch. Exhale, windmill the hands to the floor, the top of the mat, step back to plank, lower down. Inhale, glutes engaged, upward dog. Exhale, back to down dog. Inhale, left leg up in the air behind you. And as you exhale, stop the foot up, back foot flat. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, warrior one. On the exhale, open it out to the side, warrior two, arms to the T. Inhale, tip back, reverse warrior, get that side stretch. Exhale, windmill the hands to the floor at the top of the mat, step back to plank, lower with control. Inhale, take your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Good, and just take a moment here, noticing sensations, noticing what's changing as you keep moving more, working harder now. And then we're going to do one more of these all together and then one more on your own. So next inhale, look forward. Exhale, back up to your forward bend. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward bend, deepen in the knees, sink your hips. And inhale, sweep the arms up, chair pose. Exhale, fold right back down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands back to plank. Abdominals still zipped as you lower down. Inhale into your up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. And inhale, right leg lifts up behind you. Exhale, step the foot up, back foot flat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, warrior one. Exhale, open it out to the side, warrior two. And inhale, tip back, reverse warrior. Exhale, windmill the hands to the floor, back to plank, move through your vinyasa. Back to downward dog. Inhale, left leg up in the air behind you. And exhale to step the foot up, back foot flat. Inhale, arms reach up, warrior one. Exhale, open it out to the side, warrior two. Inhale, tip back, left arm up and over, reverse. Exhale, windmill the hands to the floor, back to plank, flow through your vinyasa. Coming back into your downward dog. Again, taking a handful of breaths here, and then moving through one more of those on your own. Chair pose up at the top of the mat. Warrior one, warrior two, reverse warrior on each leg. We'll meet back up here in downward dog. And again, if you want to do more than one, then just pause the recording, start back up when you're ready. Breaths full and long, no rush. Cultivating mindfulness. Really in your body, feeling your way through this. Reminding yourself about finding your balance between effort and ease throughout your practice. again, no rush to get there, but whenever you do get back to that last downward dog, just holding it there, seeing where you can soften a little bit more. Look for those habitual spots of tension, maybe in the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. And then let's move on to our Vinyasa sequence. So on an inhale, raise your right leg up in the air behind you and just take a few breaths here this time. Left heel reaching down toward the floor. One more inhale. As you exhale, let's draw that right knee in toward the chest. Come forward to plank again with the knee hugged in, and another good place to check that cervical spine alignment. Can you bring the back of your neck and back of your head up toward the ceiling to bring your cervical spine back in line with the rest of your spine? And then on an inhale, sweep the leg back up behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that right foot up between your hands. Stay on the ball of the left foot. Really strong legs. We're going to move with the breath a few times here. On an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead to crescent. And as you exhale, fold your upper body forward over your right thigh, arms back like airplane wings. Again, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, crescent. Exhale, fold forward, arms back, palms down, lightning bolt. One more like that. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, coming into lightning bolt, and we're going to hold it here this time. So arms back like airplane wings, palms down. Really plug the shoulder blades into your back, and then bring awareness to your neck here. Is it kind of drooping? Can you make the whole spine nice and long? Lift your cervical spine and line up with the rest of your spine. And then we're just going to do some little pulses with the arm. So just up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. The whole arm all the way up to the shoulder. So it's not just like the hands moving. It's the whole arm. The elbows stay nice and straight. Good. And then on an inhale, sweep the arms back up overhead through crescent. As you exhale, plant your hands on the floor, step back to plank pose, top of the push-up. We're going to add the inhale back in here to scoop up the abdominals, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, push back to down dog. Take a few breaths. And then let's do that much to the other side. So inhale, left leg up in the air behind you. Take a few breaths here. Right heel reaching down. One more inhale. And as you exhale, draw that left knee in toward your chest. Come forward to plank again with the knee hugged in. Check your cervical spine alignment here. Are you drooped? Can you lift back up? Make those muscles work. And then inhale, sweep the leg back out behind you. Exhale, step the left foot up. Stay on the ball of the right foot behind you. Moving with the breath again, so legs really active. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, crescent lunge. Exhale, fold your upper body forward, arms back like airplane wings. Again, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, lightning bolt. One more like that. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, fold forward. Let's hold our lightning bolt pose this time. Spine nice and long, including the cervical spine. Chin tucked toward the chest a little bit. Arms nice and long, shoulder blades really plugged into your back. And then let's do those pulses again with the arms, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. So you feel those muscles, those rotator cuff muscles, those muscles around your shoulder blades working here. Good, and then on an inhale, sweep the arms back up overhead through crescent. Exhale, plant the hands on the floor, step back to plank. And take your inhale again, nice long, strong, straight line. Exhale down. Inhale, peel the shoulders back in your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Take a few breaths. And then let's add some more onto this. So next inhale, right leg lifts back up behind you. Exhale, knee to chest, come forward to plank. Inhale, sweep that right leg back out long. Exhale, step the foot up, stay on the ball of the left foot. And just one time now, inhale, arms up overhead, crescent. Exhale, fold forward, lightning bolt. We're gonna pivot the back foot flat now, and on an inhale, windmill the arms, turn to the left, face that long edge of the mat so that the toes of both feet are pointing toward the long edge of the mat. And just take another inhale here, arms to the T. As you exhale, fold forward, bring the hands to the floor so you're in a wide angle forward bend. And then any kind of movement that might feel good here this round, we'll spend a little bit of time in it. So you could bend one knee at a time, go back and forth, side to side. And whether you're moving a little bit or you're just holding in stillness, bring your awareness to your neck again. So this is another one where we can tend to really round our upper back and just kind of let our head droop. Can you lift your chest? Find a little bit more length in your spine, and then bring that cervical spine along as well, in line with the rest of your spine. And then take an inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, keep turning to the left, walk around to the back of your mat, back toes, left toes pointing to the back of the mat. We're gonna shift all our weight into the left leg and just lift off into a warrior three pose, right leg out behind you. Arms wherever they'll help you to balance. Maybe those airplane arms again, palms down, maybe even doing some pulses with the arms again. And be mindful of your cervical spine here as well in this posture. Make your body into the shape of a capital T. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, plant the hands on the floor, step back to plank. We're gonna take our inhale here to scoop up the abdominals. Exhale, come all the way down to the floor this time, and we're going to do locust this round. So arms back like airplane wings again, palms down. Zip up the abdominals, activate the glutes, lift the shoulders up, and then lift everything else up off the floor that will lift. If you want to do a little variation here, you can keep the legs on the floor and just lift your upper body and not lift it too high so that it really focuses more on those upper back muscles. Take one more inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, press yourself back up into downward dog, and take a few breaths. And then we'll do that much to the other side. So next inhale, left leg lifts up behind you. Exhale, draw the knee in, come forward to plank. Inhale, sweep the leg back up long. Exhale, step that foot up, stay on the ball of the right foot, and just one time now, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead to crescent. Exhale, fold forward, lightning bolt. Pivot the back foot flat. On an inhale, windmill the arms, turn to face that same long edge of the mat again. As you exhale, fold forward, hands to the floor, coming back down into that wide angle forward bend. And again, remember, toes pointed toward that long edge of the mat. Any kind of movement again this round will flow through it when we move with our breath, but take a little bit of time here. And again, just being mindful of your cervical spine alignment here. Are you slouched or drooped? Good, and then take an inhale, lift halfway, keeping the hands on the floor as you exhale, walk them around back to the front of the mat, right toes forward, and then on a big inhale, lift off, warrior three, all your weight into that right leg, left leg out behind you. Can you keep the hips level, abdominals scooped? Can you keep your cervical spine in line with the rest of your spine? Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take your inhale, scoop up. Exhale, come all the way down to the floor for another locust pose. Arms back like airplane wings, palms down. When you're ready, inhaling to lift up. Maybe everything lifts, the head, the chest, the arms, the legs. Maybe you keep the legs on the floor and just really focus on the upper body. If you start to feel it in your lower back, then you've come up too high. Lower yourself down a little bit more and activate your glutes a little bit more. One more inhale. Exhale to release, push back up into downward dog. Shake it out a little. And then we'll put that whole thing together now, one breath per movement. And I'll guide you through it this one more round. And in our vinyasa this time, if your body is feeling up to it, we're going to do a bow pose. And then when you go on your own for the next 3 rounds after that, if you want to do what we did, upward dog first round, locust second round, bow pose third round, you can do that, or whatever works best for your body. So let's begin. On an inhale, right leg lifts up behind you. Exhale, knee to chest, forward to plank. Inhale, right leg back up long. Exhale, step the foot up, crescent lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, lightning bolt, fold forward, arms back, and then pivot the back foot flat. Inhale, windmill the arms, turn to that long edge of the mat, toes pointing to the long edge. On the exhale, just folding forward, your wide angle forward bend. Take your inhale now, lift halfway. On the exhale, walk the hands around to the back of the mat, left toes back. Shift all your weight into that left leg. One big long inhale now to lift off into your warrior three balance. And as you exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank, and take your inhale, long straight line. Exhale, come all the way down to the floor for bow pose. Bend your knees, reach back with your hands to grab your feet. Lift your thighs up off the ground, and then draw the feet back toward the wall behind you, peeling your chest up off the floor, glutes still engaged. Take one more big inhale. Exhale to release it. Press back up into downward dog, and we go right over to the left side now. Inhale, left leg up in the air behind you. Exhale, knee to chest, forward to plank. Inhale, sweep the leg back up. Exhale, step that left foot up, crescent lunge. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward over the thigh, lightning bolt. Back foot pivots flat. Inhale, windmill the arms, turn back to that long edge of the mat, arms to the T, toes forward. Exhale, fold forward, wide angle forward bend. Take your inhale, long spine, and as you exhale, keep turning around back to the front of the mat, right toes forward. One big long inhale now to lift off your warrior three balance. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take your inhale there, scoop up. Exhale, lower all the way down for another bow. Bend the knees, reach back, grab the feet, lift the thighs up. Inhaling to pull the feet back. Remember, in your bows and in your locusts, take at least a few breaths each round. One more big inhale. Exhale to release, push back up into downward dog. And now take it on your own, 3 more rounds. And just take it into your own hands. Any modifications, any additions, deletions, be creative, listen to your body. And pay attention. Are you really booking through this, or can you slow it down? Can you make it a mindful flow? Again, really paying attention to what you're doing. We want to make sure that we have time in each posture to get that good alignment, whether it's our spine or our neck, our shoulders, our wrists, our knees. We're really paying attention, getting that good alignment, keeping our body healthy. Reminding yourself about finding your balance between effort and ease. And still taking your time, moving through your sequence. But whenever you are done, just meeting up in child's pose. Nice resting posture after everything you've done so far. A nice counter stretch after the back bends in this sequence. If you need more time going through your sequence, remember you can, again, always pause the recording and then start it back up when you're ready. If you're in child's pose now, take some time to check in and just notice what's changed since you began your practice. Different sensations. Notice the quality of your mind. Take a moment to remind yourself of your intention that you set for this practice today. And remembering our intention of that awareness of our cervical spine, in your child's pose, just notice, do you have your legs together or are the knees wide apart? If the legs are together, you're going to have your spine curved more over the legs, which will have a tendency for your head to droop more. If you open the legs out wider, the knees out apart from each other, so that your torso kind of fits between your thighs and your spine lengthens forward, you will probably notice that your cervical spine stays more in line with the rest of your spine. It's not to say that one way is right and one way is wrong. That's not the case. They just serve different purposes and have different intentions. And because I am always very conscious and teaching about good spinal alignment, I personally like to have the knees out wider so that my spine can stay in a longer line. But if you have the knees together, you might be getting a nice stretch in your lower back, which could feel really good. And a lot of us have tightness and tension in our lower back, so the stretch can be helpful. So again, it's not one way is right, one way is wrong. They just serve different purposes. So just take a couple more breaths here. And then as you're ready, make your way back up to table, shake it out a little bit, and then come all the way back up into downward dog. Shake it out a little bit there. And then when you're ready, inhale your right leg up in the air behind you again. Take a few breaths, left heel still reaching down. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, draw that right knee in toward your chest again. Come forward to plank again, shoulders over the wrists, pushing the floor away from you with your hands, but then again, being aware of your cervical spine as your head drooped. Lift the back of your neck and the back of your head up toward the ceiling. And then inhale, sweep the leg back up behind you. And this time just exhale the knee through to pigeon, knee coming to the floor up by that right thumb, left leg out long behind you. Rock a little bit from side to side. Ease your right hip toward the floor. Turn your head, look over each shoulder. Can you find your foot behind you? When you come back to center, take an inhale to lift your heart. On the exhale, fold forward and just bring your forearms down to the ground. We're going to stay propped up on our forearms this time. So a lot of times we like to just bring our head right down to the floor. We get that big curve again. in our cervical spine, that drooping in our cervical spine, I should say. So today we're going to focus on still getting the hip stretch. You're still feeling something, no doubt, but trying to be aware of the neck. And so just take a couple deep breaths to help you settle in. And then be aware of your forearms, your elbows up to your wrists, pressing down into the floor so that your chest stays lifted and the back of your neck and the back of your head lift up toward the ceiling still. So we're using those muscles in our back a little bit more here than we normally would. And then finding the ease to go with the effort still. Remember, chin is slightly tucked toward the chest. Take a few more breaths. Good, and then on an inhale, let's come back up and we'll take our quad stretch. Bend your left knee behind you, reach back with that left hand to grab your foot, draw it in toward you. Good, and then release that left leg and then take the left leg, swing it around up to the front of your mat, and we're going to keep the left leg long. We're going to keep the right knee bent, but bring that right foot to the inside of your left thigh so we can come into a seated forward bend variation. And so some of you will want to be sitting on something, your blocks or folded up blankets, towels, just so that, remember, it helps your hips to automatically tip forward, to get that anterior tilt a little bit better, because a lot of us, especially if we have tight hamstrings, they're going to pull us into that posterior tilt of our pelvis. So we want to be able to have it tip forward. And then you can take an inhale to sweep your arms up overhead to lengthen your spine, or maybe just hands to the floor behind you, pressing into the floor. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward over your left leg with your heart reaching out toward your left foot as you come down. So your spine is nice and long here. Remember, we're trying to really hinge at our hip creases as opposed to curling at our waist. And then just use your breath to help your body start to relax into this stretch. And then bring your awareness to your cervical spine again. Has it drooped in this posture? Can you lift the back of your neck and the back of your head up toward the ceiling? Chin tucking down toward your chest a little. Keep trying to get that axial extension here. Remember, the spine lengthening. You're trying to create space between each vertebrae in your spine. Few more breaths. Good, and then on an inhale, just lift yourself back up. And we're just going to rewind that left leg, take it back around behind you, back through pigeon, and come back up into downward dog. Shake it out a little bit. And then let's do that sequence to the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, left leg up in the air behind you. Take a few more breaths here. Right heel still reaching down. One more inhale. And as you exhale, draw that left knee in toward your chest, forward to plank again, holding there, hands pushing the floor away from you. Back of the head, back of the neck coming up, so cervical spine is in line with the rest of your spine. And then inhale, sweep the leg back up behind you. Exhale, slide that left knee to the floor up by your left thumb, right leg out long, and just rock a little from side to side again. Turn your head, look over each shoulder. Can you find your foot behind you? When you come back to center, take your inhale to lift your heart. Exhale, fold forward, and again, bring your forearms to the floor, propping up on your forearms. Take a couple deep breaths, let your body know it's okay to start relaxing here. But then still having that awareness, the forearms pressing into the floor to hold you up so that your chest doesn't collapse, so that your head doesn't droop. Find that good neck alignment again here. Keeping that strong inward focus, last few breaths. Good, and then on an inhale, let's lift back up. And we'll take our quad stretch, bend your right knee, reach back with the right hand to grab your foot, draw it in toward you. And then let's release that right leg and we'll swing it around out in front of us. Right leg long, left knee still bent, left foot, sole of the foot comes to the inside of the right thigh. Sitting on your blocks or blankets again. Inhaling to sweep the arms up overhead, or maybe just hands to the floor behind you. Inhaling to lift your heart. Exhaling to fold forward, nice long spine. Heart reaches out toward your right foot as you come down over your right leg. Hands resting wherever they're comfortable. Take a couple deep breaths again. Let your body know it's okay to start relaxing here. And as you find some ease, making sure that it's not too much ease, you're not just drooped over the leg. Use those back muscles again. Lift your chest, lift the back of your head and neck up. Chin softly tucked. Take a few more breaths here. Good, and then on an inhale, let's lift back up and just extend both legs out long, shake them out. And then since we were folded forward for a while, let's take a reverse plank pose for a nice counter stretch. So go ahead and point the feet, point the toes, legs really active. Hands come to the floor behind you, fingers forward or out to the sides. Peel your shoulders back, and then on an inhale, lift your hip bones up toward the ceiling. Head wherever is comfortable, looking forward, looking up, dropping back. Try to keep the knees pointing straight up toward the ceiling. Take one more inhale, lift the hips a little higher. Exhale to release, come all the way down onto your back. Hug your knees in, rock a little bit from side to side. And then we're going to take that rainbow variation, or that sunrise to sunset variation of the spinal twist. So go ahead and roll yourself all the way over onto your right side, just lying curled up. Right arm comes out to the floor, straight out in front of you, straight out from the shoulder, and then left arm just comes right on top of the right arm. And then we make that little rainbow, or the sunrise to the sunset. Take the left arm up toward the ceiling, and then back behind you, bring it down to the floor, left shoulder, shoulder blade on the floor. Take a couple deep breaths. Good, and then just bring yourself back to center. Hug your knees in, rock a little from side to side, and then just roll all the way over to the left, curled up. Left arm comes to the floor out in front of you, right arm on top of the left arm, and then make the little rainbow again. Arm comes up, right arm toward the sky, back behind you, right shoulder blade coming down to the floor. Take a couple deep breaths here. Exhales, completely letting go now. Good, and then on an inhale, come back to center, hug your knees in again, rock a little bit more from side to side. And then lift your forehead up toward your knees. And then release your head back down, release your legs out long toward the edges of your mat, arms opened out a little ways from the sides, palms up. Eyes softly closed, coming into Shavasana for final relaxation. And just giving yourself this time now to integrate everything you've just done in this sequence for text neck. Giving yourself some time to rest and relax, and I'll bring you back in a few minutes to close our practice. gradually bring some movement back into your body, rolling your head side to side, wiggling your fingers and toes, your wrists and ankles, reaching your arms back to the floor behind you. Give yourself a nice big wake up stretch. And then release your arms back down. Hug your knees in, rock a little bit more from side to side. And then roll all the way over onto one side. And gently make your way back up into a comfortable seated position again. Maybe sitting in hero pose with some blocks between the feet. Really nice way to make sure that we have the proper alignment. And once you are seated, just take a couple deep breaths again, helping your body find some ease and making sure that you have that good cervical spine alignment. Head on top of the shoulders, the cheekbones, top of the cheekbones over the collarbones. And just taking a moment to thank yourself for making this time to do something good for yourself. Really important to make sure that we have good posture. It causes a lot of aches and pains and injuries as we age. So whatever age you are, it's really important to be aware of your posture and be mindful, and then to take that awareness, that mindfulness that we've cultivated here on our mat back out and continue to be aware and mindful of our posture as we move through our day. And let's bring our palms together over our heart center to close our practice. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.